Let's not go into that, Peter.
Yeah.
Let's look a little bit more about the expansion of the Pattaya Mail. It started off this English language newspaper down here in Pattaya, but it sort of grew. It got a television side, it got a German newspaper side, and then it expanded to Chiang Mai with the Chiang Mai Mail. Where's the next expansion?
Before I tell you about that, can I tell you about the downturn, the downside? I missed that.
Why not? Why not?
Otherwise I'll forget. The downside, one of the most memorable incidents in my career here as a publisher, and I was also the editor back when we first started, the Pattaya Mail is a legally registered newspaper where I had to go and, get all the licenses and everything. And one of the newspapers, one of our editions had a front page headline. It says, editor of Pattaya Mail assaulted, unprovoked or something like that. That was a story about some Austrian ruffians that assaulted me and broke my ribs and kicked me around. They thought that I was a foreigner, and these people were actually thugs. They were thugs in town, and they were always hassling foreign people in this town. So anyway, that was quite exciting. I was in the hospital and all that stuff, and they were arrested, went to the police station. Next morning, one of the bad guys was standing next to me in my hospital bed. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm so sorry I've done this to you. So call the police. Says, what are you doing here? How did you let him out? He's supposed to be in jail. But anyway, the end product or the end of that story was they all got deported. And this can be said about what we also tried to do in this town, is to bring up the quality of life in this town, where we kept telling people this is a family destination, even not as tourism, but to live here. Children live here, we have schools, it's just been that. And that's the highline, the downline. The down brings it up to the
As you say, this is a community, and it's a fairly well-knit community these days. But going back to the Pattaya Mail TV, Chiang Mai Mail, Pattaya Blat, what's next?
Retirement? No. I know many people have questioned the reason behind why I started to open up the other newspapers. It's a passion of mine. And when the Pattaya Mail, it wasn't easy getting the Pattaya Mail on its feet. I mean, the first 7 years or 10 years, it was nothing but losses. And when people say, hey, it's great fun to open up a newspaper, I say to everybody, go for it. It could be a lot of fun. But it was very expensive, very costly. Nerves, physically, mentally, financially, it was. But the thrill and the satisfaction of being able to give information to the community was more. And being Pattaya, in those days, you remember, Pattaya was always under attack from the foreign press, and even from our own press in Bangkok, and even from our own government. We were called a den of vice at one time. We said, this place is full of criminals and everything else. We were attacked because somebody said we had the most cases of AIDS in Thailand or even in the world. All sorts. We've been bombarded. Our sea is dirty, and wow. So who was going to tell the world that it's not so? Who was going to tell the world that we are trying our best? And it had to be the local people and the press. And the only English language press was us, and we could do it.
Now, you've mentioned all that. That's the direction that the paper was headed in. Who actually sat down and said, that's the direction we should go in? Was that something which came from Peter Malhotra? Or did it come from City Hall?
Oh no, definitely not from City Hall. Doc, it came from all of us. And that's a fact. I could not have run this. I sit and I talk to Dan Dorothy, who's been our editor ever since day one, you, Peter Cummins, and some of the most, Mike Franklin, a lot of good people that were with us and helped us, give us ideas, give a sense of direction. And it was me who then had to hold the wheel and turn it, but not because of myself. It was just nature. I'm the one who believes in nature. You might call it something else, other people might call it something else, which you don't believe in. But nature has its own cause, the natural cause. If you try to go against nature, you're going to lose. So you go along, and this is how nature has brought us, and we're steering this newspaper to the needs of the people here, to the needs of the community.
I like the fact that you're holding on to an imaginary steering wheel there.
Yes,
Is your style of management hands off or hands on? And you've answered it already. Thank you, Peter. You are involved in many organizations in Pattaya over these 16 years. Can you remember all of them?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I first came here, one of the first ones was SCAL. SCAL. It was called SCAL Pattaya, SCAL Club of Pattaya. And it was nice because our family was also involved in the travel trade. So I got involved in that, and when it closed down for a little while, if I may use that phrase. But then after that, I was one of the founding members of the Pattaya Sports Club. We had a beginning of 30 people that were just wanting to get together, to have some fun, play some golf, shoot some darts, and go bowling later on. And that's how that started, and that grew now. Today, the Pattaya Sports Club is over 30,000 members, and it's the biggest source of charity money anywhere. I think even in Thailand, millions of baht are given to charity every year from the Pattaya Sports Club. And then I served as the president for 3 years, from '98 to 2001, which was a great time, because the Pattaya Sports Club became an association then. And then I joined Rotary. I was a charter member of the Rotary Club of Chomti and Pattaya. Served as president twice, in that club. And that was also good. Some people I must add this, because, joining all these associations and stuff, people think you're doing this, what is it? Is it an ego thing? Is it to be seen or something like that? But no, I have my work here. I don't need to join any association or club so that people will notice me. I'm already noticed enough, but it was good to be in that, because it gave me an insight into so many things in life, in our country, in the world, the needs of people. So many people that are so underprivileged, and we sit around and we enjoy ourselves, have a great meal, drink a lot of wine, but there's children who don't get food, don't get medicine, don't get clothes, don't get books to read, things like that. So it opened up a lot, and that had a profound influence on my work in the newspaper business, because now I really knew the meaning of what this newspaper is about, because that can help those people.